Hi friends, as always I'm very excited to see you here. If you're meeting for the first time, I'm Shankar Pandey and this is the Dr. USP channel. I host videos on media, communication, research and statistics on this channel. To stay updated with the latest on this channel, I urge you to consider subscribing to the channel. Text formatting is a very important element of layout design. It generally involves working on the space between letters, working between the space between lines, paragraph indent, type fonts and such things. Let's see Adobe InDesign with USP text format in this video. We can also work with elements such as drop caps in text formatting. One of the unique things with Adobe InDesign is the story editor. We have to start a new file as always. There are a number of document presets already. So in the last video we've saved this tabloid preset and we will open this tabloid preset. Or we can even design another new preset here if we require, and then we can download that. So we start with the tabloid preset. We can decrease the gutter size if we want. And we can have 4 columns. So we started. There are 2 ways in which we can import text here. We can go to File, Place, and we can get the text from whichever file I have. Or we can also use the shortcut Ctrl D. So let's place the text here from a file called New Media on my OneDrive. The moment I open that, the text is visible on the cursor, as you can see. The text is at the head of the cursor. I can draw text boxes and that text will be filled up here. So let me just show the view. So this is the text which has been imported here. There are a number of things to notice here. The same formatting has been applied here. So I can change that formatting. If we see on the right side of the pane, I get paragraph styles and it is showing me that the formatting is now normal plus. If I want to change the formatting, I can select all using Ctrl A and then I can go for basic paragraph. So the formatting is now changed. One thing we must notice here is this or a red square with a plus sign. This shows that there is additional text which does not fit into this text box which I have drawn. So if I click that, the additional text will be available to me in another frame. So I can just draw another frame here and the text has been linked here. I can take it outside the I can take this outside the box as well if I want to. Now I can see the entire text has been filled up here. If I want to find out the number of words etc. in this particular text file, I'll have to use the window infos option. But now as you can see here, I can see the red mark has gone, but it shows that it is linked to further text in another text frame. So if I again select the content here and I go to Windows Info, it tells me that this is the amount of words, lines and paragraphs over here. So this is telling me that there are 633 words and there are 76 lines and 18 paragraphs. So I get some information about the number of words in our text box. As we know, we have to go to text frame options to work on, for example, the number of columns here in this text box. So we can go to the text frame option And if we require, for example, say number of columns as 2, I'll bring down the gutter to 3 mm, and I might require to balance columns also. This has been broken down into 2 columns. If I go outside and press W, I can see that this is the text here, or I can just press Ctrl 0 to see the text over here, and I know that I can just place it wherever I want. So this is the beginning of the text box. The moment I click onto here, this particular dialog box or this particular panel opens up. So if I want to change the character first, if I want to change the Cambria font into some other font, I can very easily go to the font here and use whatever is that I'm looking for. Boldface. So I've changed the font size over here, the font here. There are at least 3 or 4 things that I can work on while I'm working on the font. The first is regarded as tracking, which is the distance between the individual letters. So if we see this here, this is the tracking information. So if I just click inside, and if I increase that, say for example to 10, or the space between the letters is now 200. So this is tracking. At times we might require it to spread out the letters over the entire text box, the normal tracking. If I want to increase the space between 2 individual letters, for example, I want to increase the space between M and O over here, I will just do the same thing, but the cursor will now be there. I also have a shortcut, which is Alt and the right sign. As you can see here, the space has increased between these 2 letters. Or I can use Alt and the left sign to decrease it. If you can see here, this is being decreased here. So this is known as kerning, decreasing the space between the individual letters. Now it is 0. Similarly, I can select it, and if I use Alt and the right space, the space between all the letters is getting increased, and if you see here, the space has increased. And if I use Alt, the shortcut Alt and the left symbol, I can decrease the tracking once again. I can also increase the space between the lines, which is known as leading. So by default, the leading is 20%. As you can see, the font size is 12, and this is the leading, which is 14.4, which is always 20% more than the font size. For example, if I put here 15, we can see that the leading is now 18 because the leading is auto. If I want to increase the space between the lines, I can using Alt and the up and down key. So for example, if I want to increase the space between the lines, I'll use Alt and the down key, and we can see here that the space between the lines has increased. It's 24 here. So that's a very simple way of increasing or decreasing the space between the lines. So now the space is 18, the space between lines, or the leading is 18. So we generally need to work with tracking, kerning and this leading at times. We can also horizontally increase or decrease the fonts. So if I just select all and I want to vertically, in fact, we can see that all the fonts are now elongated. So this is what I've done here. I've increased it by 125%. Similarly, if there is any particular word that I want to elongate horizontally, I can do the same over here. Now we can see that this is horizontally elongated. Another thing that we can do here is work with the alignment. So for the alignment, I go to this paragraph panel and I need to click onto these additional more option buttons. So if I click onto this, it can be it will be centered. This is right, this is justified, and the justification of the last line centered, and so on and so forth. It's always advisable to use left align. So the property box here works only when it's selected inside. The moment I click outside, the property box changes. So we must be very careful about the selection inside this text box. Now there are a number of things we can do with indents and with spacing. So let's work with indents first. So it's there just beneath this paragraph thing. If I remove these options, these will be fewer, and I can increase the options as well. So the first one here is the left indent. So for example, if I just click somewhere here and one particular paragraph is selected, and if I change this left indent, then the entire paragraph will be indented towards the left, will be shifted towards the left. Let's have a bigger indent here, for example 20. You'll see the entire thing has been shifted 20 points here. I can just bring it back by putting a 0. It's back here. Similarly for right indent. A very important thing that we can do here is we'll just select all, Control A, and then an important thing to note here is the first line indent. That's to suggest where the paragraph begins. So we'll click over here, and this is for the first line indent. It's left indent. So if I want my paragraphs to start 6 millimeters always the first line, I just put enter. I can see all the paragraphs are beginning with the first line indented. So that's a very important thing to know. Another thing that we can work on is the drop caps. So for example, if I want to have a drop cap over here, I just select that. I'll place the cursor over here, and this tells me that how many lines do I want my drop caps to fall down. So for example, if I use 3 lines, the drop cap has come down 3. The second thing is to show how many letters I want. So for example, if I want the entire THE to drop down, I'll use 3 here. So this is the drop cap. If I want, I can increase the space earlier as we saw by using Alt and left. As we can see, the space here is 140, so we can keep on increasing that if you require. I can bring that to 0 if I want. So this is it. Thanks for staying along, friends. As always, it has been a delight having you here. I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, have a great time.